Hi guys, welcome to today's video. I'm filming this intro after I've read all of the books, so let's just say that this is probably the most I've ever cried in a week due to books. Anyways, this week we are reading Wild Dark Shore, which is a recommendation by Haley Pham. Love that diva. And the next book is The Conditions of Will, and this is a 5-star read from Rachel Catherine, and love her. Obviously, how can you not love her? The next one was The Nightingale. That was a recommendation I got from Sarah. It was a little traumatizing, I'm not gonna lie. If you get triggered by people crying, then I would immediately click off of it.
I have a headache from crying so much.
And thank you so much for clicking on today's video, by the way. Please subscribe. I'm gonna be posting a lot, hopefully weekly. I'm just really excited because this is like so much fun. This is such an amazing hobby. I'm loving this. Enjoy today's video. I just finished my Magnolia Parks video, so it is the perfect time to start this. I don't really know what this is about. I only watched Haley's video, but I trust her. We definitely have different book tastes. That's okay because this video is all about me getting out of my comfort zone, so I'm gonna try to read something that's not romance, and if I don't like it, that is nothing on her. Everybody has different tastes, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm so happy I managed to get this because people have been checking it out non-stop at the library, and in case you didn't know, I work at the library, so once I saw that we had it back in, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna snatch that. I'm sorry, I have to take advantage of the job. Okay, why don't we read what it's about together so we can both have a little first impression. Dominic Salt and his 3 children are caretakers of Shearwater, a tiny island not far from Antarctica. Home to the world's largest seed bank, Shearwater was once full of researchers, but with sea levels rising, the Salts are now its final inhabitants. Until, during the worst storm the island has ever seen, a woman mysteriously washes ashore. Okay, so maybe there is an aspect of romance in this, I'm not sure. And also, I just felt like I was doing the popcorn reading I had to do at school. That was weird. I still got it in me. I still know how to read, thank God. Let's see how long it is. Ooh, it has multiple point of views, which I do love. Wow, the chapters seem really short. Love that. I think this may be less than 300 pages. Okay. I'm a little over halfway through the book and I wanted to give an update because I am unexpectedly liking it. In the beginning, I didn't know if I could get into it. I'm like, this video may end right here and I am not going to continue it. So I put it down because I was like, I don't want to force myself to read. But then later at night, I was like thinking about it. So I picked it back up and I could not put it back down. So to start off, I really like the writing. It's very interesting because the author writes in a way where the character will just drop this bomb of a sentence and it's said so casually. And I'm like, did I miss something? Like, was this already established? But no, the character will tell us something and instead of getting an answer right away, the tension just kind of builds. It's a bit disorienting, but in a good way, because that's how real life is. Like, we don't just get the answers right away. And I don't know, something about it feels a bit personal. Like, the character is letting me in on a secret that, like, I shouldn't know about. I'm also questioning the motivations of these characters because not everything is revealed, and there is some, like, internal conflict happening involving grief and guilt and even just, like, trying to find purpose. I'm just trying to piece together who's trustworthy and who isn't, and, like, what these characters are trying to achieve in the end. And the exploration of nature in this book is so unexpectedly fun. I was like, I don't know. This may be a bit of a snooze fest, like with peace and love. But there's so many parts where I'm relating to nature and I'm relating to the seeds, which sounds crazy. The 9-year-old son is really into botany and he's so smart. And he talks about the seeds and nature in a way where I'm like, wow, nature really does get it, and just really reminds me to be so appreciative and to really respect nature. And not because of what humans can get from it, but because of what it is. So not only have I finished Wild Dark Shore, I have also made it 29 chapters into The Conditions of Will. But let's just start off with Wild Dark Shore. I ended up giving it a 4-star, which is really good considering the fact that I never read anything like this. And going into it, I was thinking, like maybe 3-star if we're lucky. And when I was reading it, I just had it on my mind a lot. It was almost a higher rating, but the ending just, at my core, I am always going to be a romance, happy ending girl. So this got a 4-star. I feel like I was more interested in what was going on with the husband she came to find than I was with any romance, because the romance in this was very sudden and it was just 1 to 100. Like, I knew there was like a little something happening and then it was just like, I love you. And I was like, oh, where did that come from? I'm like, hey, I'm here for it. Your lives are complicated and not the best. So find someone, hold on to them. It wasn't a 5-star for me, but different people, different taste. Still amazing. 4-star is really good for me, so let's get into the true bread and butter. This is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This, I got the recommendation from Rachel Catherine. I live for her. I think she's so sweet and nice. And Jessa Hastings, if you did not know, is the same author that wrote Magnolia Parks, which I just read. I just uploaded a reading vlog for it. So I was excited for this one, but whenever I read the synopsis, I was like, it seems a little plain whenever like I was comparing it to Magnolia Parks, but no, this is not like Magnolia Parks. This is a whole different thing. But what's interesting about this is it takes place in the same world as Magnolia Parks. So this one is about Georgia. She's like basically a lie detector. She studies body language and psychology. So that is such a fun aspect of the book because she's able to just like tell if somebody's lying or if they're interested in her, if they're angry. So having a character know exactly what everybody is thinking is like, oh, thank God, that saves me the stress of worrying about this character because they already know what everybody else is thinking and their intentions. And she comes from a very wealthy and very religious family from South Carolina. She's sent away when she's around 15 after being found with her sister's boyfriend. There's much more to that story. Her dad and her mom sent her to London for school there, and she's very close with her brother Oliver. And them two are like the ostracized ones in the family. They send her away because of what happened. They sent him away as well because he's gay and they're not accepting of that at all. So they send him away to Los Angeles and he seeks a lot of validation and becomes an alcoholic, and it's very sad. But after receiving the news that her father died, Georgia has to go back for the funeral, which she doesn't even really want to do, which I was a little jarred to read about at first, but then as we go further into it, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So she goes back for the funeral, and the first thing she sees when she walks in is Sam Penny, who is Oliver's AA sponsor. She is immediately attracted to him, and she initially thinks that that's Oliver's boyfriend, but it is not. So the attraction is definitely mutual. And when she meets Sam Penny, after talking to him, like, she feels very understood by him, which is very rare for her. It feels like nobody's really understood her, and he can kind of see right through her, which I don't know if I necessarily see how that's happening, but I mean, if she says it's happening, then I'm like, okay, it's happening. So their connection runs deeper than just like, oh, he's very attractive, oh, she's very pretty. It's more than that, which is always a big necessity for me in a book. Love a emotional connection, which I mean, like, is that too much to ask for? Like, that's like the bare minimum, I feel, but some books really do that. This book really dives into family dynamics. We have her older brother, Tennyson, who I'm actually really enjoying, and I'm really happy with how Jessa Hastings is handling his character.
I just want to say I'm part of the LGBTQ community, and this is my best friend, Valentina. She's an ally. Talk, Valentina. Ally.
And Marianne, who is the... I do not like her at all. She has been a bit infuriating to read about. Since I'm only halfway through, I haven't gotten to the part where Oliver's necessarily said that he's interested in Sam, but it's definitely implied. And I also haven't gotten to like one of the biggest parts, which is their father's will. And I also forgot about that completely until I read what the book is literally about. So that's gonna add a whole new element to this book. I was wondering like how much more can go on. Started this last night and I have been flying through it. I swear I am like in a lucid state when reading this. I don't even know what lucid state means, but that's what I'm in. I feel like I am just totally transported, and I completely lost track of time while reading this, which is like such a high compliment about a book. And I also love the South Carolina setting because I imagine her family having the same voice as the characters in Heart of Dixie. Typically, I have to read at least a few pages before I'm immersed into the world, but this, the first word, I am there. Jessa Hastings is like the Taylor Swift of the book world. I love her. I'm gonna continue reading this, and I am excited to see the father's will. Like, what's going on with that? I really love how loyal she is, but like I said, she's very close with her brother Oliver. Sometimes she's loyal to her own detriment. She protects him more than she protects herself, and he is a bit like, he victimizes himself and sometimes has a hard time seeing her point of view. And I get that he had to be made to feel like he couldn't be himself around his own family and his own parents, and he wasn't loved for being who he is. But I do also feel for Georgia because there is something very big she did for him, and it only made him kind of resent her more. So, you know, when you see somebody do something really nice and it's just not fully appreciated and you kind of feel for them and you're like, man, that would like not be a good feeling. He has been there for her a lot, but he's also not been there for her a lot, and it feels like she's almost always there for him, or at least she tries to be. So it's not so much a give and take relationship, it feels more like give, give, give. And since I'm reading it from her point of view, I do have this love for Oliver, and he hasn't had like the same psychology classes she has. I mean, she's a pro at this, so her working through it makes a lot more sense, and working through her trauma and him not, that makes sense. So I'm not reading this and I'm like, oh, he's so terrible. You can't hate somebody for the way they have developed due to the trauma they've had. So I do still have this affection towards him. Unlike her sister, who I would just want to, even though like the sister is babied like crazy, our main character, Georgia, does not baby her at all. Like once she sees her, like she'll just be like, go away, like I don't want to talk to you. And I love that because she is not like playing along with the rest of the family. Uh-oh. Something interesting is that her relationship with her father is very strained, of course, and I mean, we go into the book knowing that. That's kind of what it's about. But when she talks about her father, and when people talk about her father, I don't hate him at all. There's something I suspect about him that would make some things make sense. I do encounter his sister in this book, and she's very likable. That is like one of the only other family members that Georgia gets along with, and his sister loves him, so that just kind of reinforces my feelings that he wasn't as bad as we may think he is. I feel so bad for Georgia. They just had one of those moments where she's looking at something and says it's beautiful, and then Sam Penny is looking at her and saying, yes, it is. That is such a typical romance scene and so cheesy, and I love it. My heart is thudding like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade marching band as I lean in toward him. That's crazy. I can go anywhere I want. Anywhere I want, just not home. Well, I finished The Conditions of Will last night. I am happy to report this is an absolute 5-star. I just have a few final notes to say, and that is about how much I love Sam. He is just so composed and reasonable. I mean, just all the characters feel so human. They've just gone through a lot. And the romance in this, which by the way, this is so much more than a romance book, but they know how they felt about each other. It wasn't really in question, and when they had fights, it was resolved so easy. Like, next chapter, it was done. The only thing was, of course, the fear of being found out, which was just a fun element and I loved it. But there really is so much more to the book than just romance. Like, it talks about grief, neglect, trauma, and other heavy topics that I thought were just discussed really well. The book is like, it's messy, but not in a petty, avoidable way where everything can just be resolved with one conversation. It's not like Magnolia Parks. It's just like messy in the way real life is, where things build up over the years. And like by the time they surface, it's just too complicated to untangle cleanly, if that makes sense. This book is lingering on my mind. I had dreams about these characters, which kind of happens often for me, to be honest, but it still says a lot about a book. There are so many amazing quotes, but I keep like going over this one and I couldn't find it, but it keeps coming to my mind. And it's when Georgia says that rooftops were created for the sole purpose of her being able to go up on them and scream how much she loves him. Like, that's so cute. Sam just did so good at prioritizing Georgia, but not just forgetting about the time he's had with Oliver and still making sure he's okay. Just mwah, mwah. The next book we are going to be starting is something out of my comfort zone, because I was like, I was too easy with myself. I read this because I wanted to read it, not because it's out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to be reading, cue the ominous music, The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a recommendation by Sarah, and I feel like I'm not giving her a fair chance because I don't know if this is the book for me. I'm curious in reading The Nightingale because people love it and people are always checking it out. It is never on the shelf, so people love it. Sarah loves it. We're gonna give it a try. Okay, it is a few days later, and that's because not only is it finals week, but also I'm having a really hard time forming my thoughts on this book. Okay, so as we know, I'm reading The Nightingale, which is pronounced Nightingale, not Nightingale. A little embarrassing on my part, but that's okay. We learn from our mistakes. So this book is a much slower pace than I prefer, and I feel like I keep zoning out. There's timeline jumps in it, which I don't mind at all. Like, sometimes that can take me out of the book a bit, but that is not like the issue that's happening for me at all. What I'm struggling with is the writing style, surprisingly, because I've heard amazing things about Kristen Hanna. The writing in this book is it talks about the atmosphere a lot, and keep in mind, I'm like 43% in. It talks about atmosphere so much where it just slows down the book even more. And I want to be like in the character's brain. I like the atmosphere being set up and then for like most of the book just being with the characters so I can really connect with them. So I'm not really connecting with them. I feel for them, but I'm not connecting with them, which is something that like I need in a book. It's kind of unclear with the way she writes sometimes. Like, she sometimes like alludes to what's happening or what they're doing without saying it directly, which makes me have to like reread the paragraph over and over again because I'm a little lost. However, I did do some research on this book, and Kristen Hanna was actually inspired by a real person, and this woman helped Allied pilots escape Nazi-occupied territories. And I think that is just such a powerful foundation for the story, and I love that Kristen Hanna decided to focus on a woman's role during the war, because I feel like that is something that's really looked over. So having that as like a big part of what's happening in the book, I just love. And I think it's really important that we see how women played such big roles during the war, even though they're often overlooked. And even in the book, our main character, who is in the present timeline, gets this letter about honoring war heroes, and her son initially is like, oh, is that for dad? And our character is like, it is true that men are always the first one who are thought of whenever we think about who played such a big role in World War II. I think that this book is really important to read and very powerful, but I can't get into it, and I'm not enjoying my reading experience. Maybe something will happen and it'll be like, wow, that was amazing, like that changed the rest of the book. And there are some books where the ending is just so good, where I'm like, that is a 5 star, so you never know. But that is pretty rare, and I feel so bad because so many people love this book so much, and I understand why you love this book so much, especially if you're into historical fiction. Like, it totally makes sense. And I'm somebody who likes a lot of dialogue, and I feel like this book doesn't have a lot of dialogue. Like, we're just along the ride of what's happening to the characters, what they're doing, and I may be like a little noob reader, but that's just like how I like to read. I know Sarah loves this book, and I know a lot of other people love this book, so I want to love this book. I love being a part of the crowd. Just a quick update, I'm about to go to sleep, but I've made it 65% in. After 50%, it honestly started to pick up a lot and got way more entertaining, and things are happening, and if that started at 20%, I would have been way more into this book. I am liking it way more. So I'm tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, but I thought that was a worthwhile update, that I am actually kind of enjoying it. We are on the up, and I will see you tomorrow. I am home from work, and I changed into the exact same pajamas I was in yesterday, yes. I was listening to the audiobook for Nightingale, and I had to stop because I was feeling so sad. There were moments where I was just like staring off into space. I just couldn't. Chapter 22 is where it really started to go downhill for me. She hates the dark. Cut the cameras. The first half of it, I was upset, but I wasn't like heartbroken. I wasn't feeling it truly. But then the second half, things have started to happen, and it is. Think it's sad? It gets sadder. Like, you think it's bad, make it worse.
And if you think it's bad, make it worse.
So I had to stop, but I am home now. I was working on school for a bit. I'm taking a break from that because that is making me sick to my stomach. So now we are just going to read because I'm already suffering. Why not make it worse? I'm gonna be reading on my phone though. I left my book in my car, and I'm just too lazy to go out, to be honest. Ah, that's hot! I gotta say, the nice thing listening to the audiobook was having the accents, because I cannot read in an accent. The dad is such an underrated character. Like, I'm knowing that the war impacted him, but now seeing how it really impacted him, and now like actually understanding him is like so, oh my gosh. The amount of time they missed together and the regrets that all the characters are having for the way they treated each other is like so sad. In the beginning, these characters, I just wasn't connecting with them. I just wasn't feeling them. Some of the actions of the characters in the beginning didn't seem realistic, but now it's like, now that they're in it and things are changing and they've grown, I just want you guys to be okay. This is so messed up. This is freaking Vaughn whatever. I don't even care what his last name is. This dude is... I hate, loathe, despise this man. And I don't say that lightly. I'm not a hateful person. I try to see the good in everybody, but this man, this life, this world, this situation, this is... No. I'm like, I need to be helping these people. Don't do this, she begged. It's done, he said. The smile he gave her was slow and forming, and when it came, she felt pain constrict her chest. Memories came at her in waves, surging over the breakwater she'd built in the isolated years. This is not okay. Literally, all I know is pain? Holy crap, this is sad. I need to go to sleep. This just gets worse and worse and worse. Literally, the last time I talked to you, I was saying how bad it was. Bro, are you kidding? My hair is stuck to my tears. Oh my god. For reference, I'm on chapter 34. So, I wish so badly I could give spoilers and say exactly what's on my mind, but I cannot give spoilers. And now I have to just be sitting in these feelings and depressed alone. Like, I can't even say it without giving a spoiler. I wonder if this has any role in the future. Unlike Sophie, he never complained about being hungry or reading by candlelight or the terrible gray bread their rations provided. He remembered nothing else. Is this actually happening? What? Is this a dream? Oh, no. I didn't see that coming at all. It's not forgetting we need Vianne, he said. It's remembering.
Jeez, dude.
Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you.
Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you.
Not thank you, though.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. 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 I have a headache from crying so much.
Well, I'm done with the book. You know what, first I need to wipe my entire face down. Okay, yes, I finished the book. Yes, I have changed my mind on it. It is getting a 4-star rating. I was thinking it would be lucky if it got a 2. That last 50%, I feel like a story that impacts me that much deserves a good rating. This is not something I'll actively search for in the future. You'll never catch me looking up books like The Nightingale, ever. It was so hard to get through at first, but that last 50% really was just... And the ending was just... I'm gonna go outside tomorrow. I'm gonna touch some grass. I'm gonna feel grateful. I'm gonna bask in the sunlight. First 50% I was just not feeling the characters, but in the last 50% I was really rooting for them. I don't know how that switch happened. It just went from them being kind of naive to, of course, changing as things just kept getting worse and worse. And I feel like that would be pretty realistic too, to be honest, but since I didn't know it was going that way, at first I was just like, what? I will still say that the beginning atmosphere was just a little... It was a little too much. Let's leave it at that though. And that is a conclusion to today's video. I had so much fun. Well, I guess I didn't have so much fun, but I had an interesting week. I really liked getting out of my comfort zone. It was different and I enjoyed experiencing the different genres that I typically don't venture into. Other than the Conditions of Will. I deserve that one, okay? Especially before this one. So thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for seeing me cry like 10 times. I cannot believe I'm putting this on the internet. Thank you for watching today's video and I hope to see you next time. Bye.